What's up, guys? As you may or may not be aware, last week I basically fixed up my channel. All the loose ends were tied up, just about everything was reorganized, restructured. And in the process I created a new playlist and will basically be an extension to the new series, which this video will be a part of, which will be basically called Quick Tips, where, as you might have already guessed by the title, will be basically me giving quick illustrative examples and points on how to not only become a better player, but maybe consider something you haven't overlooked. Some of them, such as this video, will be quite obvious, so that to those of you and that'll be probably most of you, if you haven't already considered it, then, well, hey, just stick around and watch the highlights, because, hey, I'm biased as I may be, I think they're pretty decent. But if you haven't, then, hey, hopefully you learned something from it. And as you can probably already tell, a lot of the videos that I included in that playlist, if you go and have a look, if you haven't already seen it by now, it'll be on my main channel page, all the changes. It'll be basically everything from the novice points to something that's philosophical. Like, one of my favorite video concepts I put up was, when you flank, should you take out the enemy so that your teammates can now continually push up and bridge that gap, or should you just go and take the enemy flag? Which, I mean, that's a philosophical point, and that'll be included in the series. This video is basically as obvious as it may be. We'll be illustrating, and believe me, I wouldn't even conceive the idea of posting a video with a commentary like this if I didn't see so many examples of people not actually doing it. Will basically be when to switch your kits or switch your gun loadout. And believe me, I see it all the time. As you can tell already, I started with the Gold Magnum because I was trying to measure the ranges at which the enemies would be, where they're going to be pushing, how hard they're going to be pushing, and where they're going to be pushing those MCOMs. All key points to remember. Now, I notice the Gold Magnum at that point I wasn't having great success with. It was okay. But at this point, I switched to the AEK and the Assault class because I noticed that on my flank they were pushing quite far up. And at the close range encounters, which they would have been at this point with that Gold Magnum, I'd be at a severe disadvantage. So when you know that the enemy's closing that gap, and they're going to be in closer range encounters, or say, like in the example here, like now I'm playing closer to the MCOMs with the AEK, which will be nice in the close quarter encounters, switch to a weapon and switch to a class that's going to be conducive for great success, depending, of course, on the flow of the match. Determining the flow of the match, basically as you change your kit, will not only determine your success, but probably the rate at which you win as well, and especially if your teammates follow suit. Playing the AEK in the close quarters engagements toward the MCOMs here is going to give me amazing success, especially because I'm usually very good with this gun. But again, knowing when to switch your kit is key. If you had spawned back as Recon sitting here, you might have done well. Hey, power to you if you do. But I personally don't think you would. Well, especially if you're using a bolt action, because if you get outnumbered or you get naded or suppressed or anything of that sort, no matter how good you'll pretty much be useless in that scenario. So switching to a carbine, switching to an assault rifle here, as I did with the AEK, would be best served for your success. And this, I think, and believe me, I see it all the time. I see people who stay on bolt action rifles despite being swarmed, like 3-on-1 in a circumstance where you know the enemy is pushing you back. Like in this case here, you can tell they're really starting to close the ground on us. If I'd stayed as bolt action, I wouldn't have helped the team at all. I probably wouldn't have done good myself if I was really all about going for points and statistics myself. But that's not the kind of person I am, as I'm sure most of you could probably attest to. But that being said, that would be the moral of the story today. Watch the ebb and flow of the match. See where the enemy's pushing. See what you can do to help. See what they're trying to do. Figure it out and counter it with the best gun and class you possibly can. Just because, say, you're trying to level up Recon in a lot of instances doesn't mean you should stay as Recon if you're going to be pushed back. Switch to a kit that's going to be best conducive for success. It'll help you and your team. Hope you enjoyed. As much as that was a fairly obvious point that just about all of you probably already know, I think it's worth illustrating to anyone who doesn't know or happens to be new and sees the video today, if they bought Battlefield 4 yesterday. Anyway, that's it. See you later.